and welcome back to another video. Today going to be taking a very first look at the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, or the Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce Jota, which I know I could have technically got from the festival playlist last week if I'd done everything, although on some people's games that didn't work. But yeah, here it is, the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, finally ready to take a look at this on here. It's got no boot. Looks very much like an Aventador in there, and has a stupid engine-y bit. So yeah, a rather unpopular opinion. I think the Lamborghini Aventador SV looks better, because I hate these stupid, hideous snouts on the front. I mean, why would you do that? Because the other car is just much better looking. But anyway, if you really want an Aventador SVJ in reality, they cost £271,146 and upwards. They're capable of 218 miles per hour and do 0-60 in under 3 seconds, a bit like the Huracan Evo, similar kind of performance, which, yeah, is slightly disappointing from the bigger Lamborghini. But yeah, we tested out the Evo yesterday, so if you haven't already seen that, go and have a look at that video. But yeah, effectively, it's a better, faster Aventador SV, which is a better, faster version of the normal Aventador, which is a slower version of the S, which is a slower version of the Ultimate, because there's millions of them now, and we have 4 of them in here, including the SVJ, J, normal Aventador, and SV, if that number of letters was not confusing. Anyway, first things first, let's change that orange to another colour, which will be slightly nicer than that. So we've got orange, yellow, silver, which actually looks quite nice, matte black, red, you can't read the J, green is, well, it's quite green, but there's not the purple, as I mentioned when we picked up the Evo, which is available in Viola Pacific. This is not, unfortunately, which means, for the moment, what do we think is the best? For the moment, I'm going to go with the bright green, and we'll come and change that up again and put a proper livery on it when we come and upgrade it. So let's just very quickly see what it feels like before we go over to the circuit. Because apparently it's lighter than the other Aventadors, and also thanks to the Aerodynamica Lamborghini Activa, it has 40% more downforce than the SV, which until this came out was obviously the highest downforced Aventador. Those exhausts are ridiculous. Yes, it's very green, but yeah, there's certain things I don't like. That stupid shape of the rear window. I don't like the wing as much as the SV. I don't like the snouts. So basically, it's a worse looking SV with some more downforce. It's slightly lighter and slightly faster. So, let's have a look at some of the other Aventadors. We've got a standard Aventador with 700 horsepower, 847 PI. We've then got the SV, 740, so 40 more than standard, a little bit lighter, and 870 PI. We then have the Aventador J, which is the same as the standard one, effectively, I think. Yeah, that's just a standard one with the roof chopped off and a wing on the back. So we ignore that because that's effectively the same as that, but even worse. Probably because it's not as aerodynamic. So yeah, the Super Veloce is kind of the one we're comparing it to here. 740 horsepower, 872 PI. Whereas this is 759, so we've got 19 more horsepower and, yeah, well, 889 PI, so quite a difference. So let's see how it compares to those around our street circuit. So here we go for our run in the Aventador SVJ. I have taken the other Aventadors round. Somehow the Aventador J was faster than the standard Aventador despite being lower PI. But anyway, let's see what time this can do, and then we will see how that compares to the other Aventadors that I've just taken round. This is 17 PI, I think, higher than the SV, so it should beat it by a bit. Well, the turn in through that final corner is good. That's not good. Oh, what did I hit? Okay, well, scrap lap 2. But yeah, every Lamborghini I've taken around before on that final corner, it feels like it's going to understeer into the wall. Right, so we're restarting because I've not got a proper type for this. Everything ended up with it being in the wall, which didn't seem fair. It would be a lot slower than everything else. So, rather worryingly, the Aventador SVJ did a 49.878, which puts it behind the Aventador, which did a 49.723. So the 17 extra PI apparently are entirely useless, and all that 40% extra downforce has not helped in any way, which is slightly a shame. So, the leaderboard now has the Aventador SV at the top at 49.7, then the SVJ that we just took round at 49.8, then the Huracan Performante at 50.2, Huracan Evo at 51.1, Aventador J at 51.9, normal Aventador at 52.3, and those are all the cars that have had full 3-lap runs. Then below that we have the Huracan J50, Monza, Subaru STI, Espada and Renault 8, which at some point I will run around again properly to give them a full 3-lap attempt, but considering the SVJ got more than 3 laps, I know some of them ended in a crash, so were kind of scrapped, but considering it got more laps and was still slower than the SV, doesn't seem too good. But anyway, now let's head back to the garage, see what upgrades and stuff are available, probably build it to the top of S1 maybe. I know that won't get as much upgrades, and then come back and see how it compares to the previous 2 S1 built cars I've taken around this circuit. So, what upgrades are available? We'll start with Aspiration. You can twin turbo it if you so wish, takes it into S2 class, and you can rear wheel drive swap it, again, if you really want to. In terms of aero, we're probably going to have... That doesn't look as awful as you might have imagined. This is going to be interesting, because it's still got the... Wait. Because it's still got that fin bit. Look, there's actually a gap. There's a gap between the... I'm not going mad. There is a gap between the wing and the... That is very stupid. Right, okay, let's quickly build this to the top of S1 and then go and see how it does. So there we go, we've got 776 horsepower now, we're down slightly in weight, it has got slightly wider tyres on it, I think I did that in the end. Track width is out a bit, maybe I took them off actually so we could get some weight reduction, did think it needed a bit of weight reduction. But yeah, up on power a bit, down on weight a bit, and hopefully with a bit more grip. Now let's go and find a paint and get going to see if it can beat the Monza and the Huracan Evo. So, I found a rather nice Viola Pacife paint job with the Aventador J, or the J in green, which I'm not quite sure if the lettering's been done very well, but it's a nice change. So, let's see if this can beat the Huracan Evo, which was also built to the top of S1, which did a 49.5. The Monza we kind of ignore because that only had 1 lap and it was actually slower than its stock time. So, yeah, it's the Huracan Evo to beat. Really not sure about how that J is being done. Anyway, let's see if it can redeem itself after being slower than an SV as stock, which was probably mostly down to my driving, but I mean there was a 10th in it, so either way it was close. I know I didn't drive that much worse, apart from the crashy bit you saw. There was a couple of good laps in there. That's not good. Might be all down to lap 3. Oh! I feel like it understeers too much, actually. Maybe it's actually because it's got more downforce. It sort of just pushes it into the road, so it pushes it wide. I mean, it could just be my driving, but like that I could easily take flat in the SV, so I don't know. Could be my upgrades, could be my driving, but either way, that was, again, I think, slower than... So that was, yeah, unfortunately, a 50.5 means that was slower than stock. So I don't know if it's my upgrades or my driving, or... but I'm taking those upgrades off that. We did a 59.5 in the Huracan Evo that was upgraded, which was better than, well, anything else. So ignore that, that was not really very good. So I am actually rather disappointed with the SVJ. So I've waited a week after I've known people that it's possible to have got it a week ago, and some people did. And I was kind of looking forward to it, having seen, well, it being driven. But yeah, it's not really all that good. I mean, yes, the lap time thing is arguably my driving, and for the upgraded one, my tune. We'll ignore that tune ever happened. It was absolutely terrible. But yeah, the standard one was not faster than an SV. Like, even if I'd done a faster lap, it's a tenth slower, so arguably it's about the same, or potentially a little bit faster, but even if it was, it's not enough to warrant the extra price that this would be in reality. Obviously in the game it's a bit of a different story, but personally I don't think it looks as good as the SV. It's not enough better than the SV to be worth having at all. So I am slightly disappointed by that. Luckily we did have the Huracan Evo, which was surprisingly good. Well, we know Huracans are good, they're just a bit boring, but it was very good. And there's a Gallardo Spider that we can go and win for this week's festival playlist, and some Peels and many other things. So, although this was rather disappointing, luckily we're not short of Lamborghinis, new Lamborghinis here in Forza Horizon 5. But yeah, that probably is going to do it for a first look at the SVJ. It's actually the first festival playlist car I think I've looked at. Possibly the DeLorean was, but most of it being car pass. But yeah, that's probably one of the only new cars I'm going to take a look at for a while. So next week, the car pass car is the Jaguar XJ13. So I will definitely be testing that one out. Very much looking forward to that. And hopefully it's better than this thing was, which was a shame. I was hoping this was going to be a good driving car. I mean, Lambos are always heavy. They're all-wheel drive and whatnot. But yeah, slight shame about the SVJ. But there we go. Those are my thoughts on that car. Do let me know if you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it and you aren't already subscribed, please consider doing so. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next video very soon.